Hello, everybody! Spooky Sandwoman here. Thank you for checking out Seduce Me the Otome. Last episode, we confessed to Matthew that we love him. And you know what? He said it back. He feels the same way now. Diana is pretty sad. Diana's eyes grew dull as she glared at me and Matthew. It seemed almost uncharacteristic of her, yet it was something I wasn't surprised to see come from her face.
Very well. Fine. Valet.
Valet? And with that, Diana faded into the ground into her purple pentagram, crossing her arms and almost looking upset. Matthew and I were then left alone, left with the silence of the room. I finally let out the air I was unconsciously holding in my chest, relaxing from the ordeal. Matthew stepped to me and held me gently, surprisingly.
Are you all right?
I nodded in response, unable to speak so immediately after being surprised. Matthew let out a sigh and relaxing in the embrace. I gently placed my hands around him, returning the embrace slightly. I could hear Matthew's heartbeat. He held me close in his arms, and I felt safe beyond words. Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay. I'm holding you.
That's cute. It's fucking cute right there. I looked up at Matthew, surprised at what he'd said. Matthew blushed, moving a strand of hair from my face to look down at me. God, am I shorter than him?
You mean so much to me. You make me feel like more than just a kid. I've never felt this happy before with anyone. And here you are giving me every reason to love you.
Oh,
I love you so friggin' much.
aw. I stared wide-eyed, blushing like a maniac. Is this real? No way. This couldn't be real. Was Matthew confessing to me? Confessing his love for me? Matthew gently caressed my cheek, staring into my eyes with a loving, almost hopeful expression. The warmth of his hand invited me to nuzzle into it, closing my eyes. This wasn't a dream. My heart was pounding hard enough to where I was sure Matthew could hear it. Matthew gently leaned in, closing his eyes. He stopped, however, remaining to be just a mere torturous inch away from my lips. He wanted me to show my feelings for him. He had left himself open for me to kiss him or leave him empty. Gee, I wonder what I'm gonna do. The power I had was unbelievable. I'm a fucking kiss him. I loved him, and I wanted to give him exactly what he wanted. I gently leaned in and letting my lips finally touch his gingerly. Matthew let out almost a surprised gasp against my lips before wrapping both of his arms around my waist, pulling me close to him. I know where this is gonna go. I moved my arms up around his neck, feeling the kiss between us deep into a heat and tight. My chest was pounding me, making me feel and see fireworks in my mind. Matthew was everything I desired. He was the man I wanted, demon or not. It was all so supernatural to fall in love with someone so quickly. Maybe it was the sense of magic I was thrown into. Maybe it was Cupid playing with my heart. Either way, I found myself melting at the thought of him being with me. I found myself combing my fingers around Matthew's hair, making the man holding me softly tremble at my touch. He gently nibbled on my lower lip, asking me to deepen the kiss between us even further. I easily teased him before finally opening my mouth slightly for him. His tongue gently danced with mine as his hands slipped up my back and cradled my head. He gently leaned my body back, making me cling to him as the heat of our kiss rose higher and higher. Gently, though, Matthew slowed the kiss down and pulled away, staring down at me. His eyes burned for me, wanting me to melt and buckle in his arms. I could feel myself melt already. Matthew opened his mouth to speak, but as a very small blush ran across his cheek, he was reduced to shy silence. I stared as he tried to find the words to say in my eyes. I knew exactly what he wanted. He didn't need energy, though, right? Are you...
No, I
stared wide-eyed, feeling a blush on my cheeks grow. He didn't say anything more, but I knew what words would have followed if he continued. He wanted me. I was stunned. Was I that appealing to him? Was his passion really that deep for me? Matthew gently nuzzled my forehead, losing the blush and finally being able to speak.
If you don't want to, we don't have to. I mean, it's up to you.
I could feel my mind go numb and purr at the idea. A moment with an incubus. He was a demon of sex, the purest form of lust and desire. My world would rock. And I would enjoy every second of it. Oh, lordy Lou. At the same time, I was indeed inexperienced. Diana wasn't wrong when she claimed me to be innocent. Did I want to give that innocence to him? Especially this early? I found myself forgetting the words yes and no. What could I say to him? I knew then what I wanted, but how to say it without breaking the moment. Seduce me. I couldn't believe the two words that came out of my mouth. It made the most sense to tell him yes. I needed him. I wanted him. Those two words must have made something in him finally break. Matthew gently wrapped his arms around me and went back to kissing me passionately. I could feel energy whiz about me, making me open one eye to see blue light glowing around us. When the light subsided, I was in my bedroom on my bed with Matthew above me. I stared as Matthew held a look of both lust and love. My heart simply skipped a beat from his gaze on me. This was okay. I wanted to see all of him and give myself to him. I gently guided his head to me, kissing him slowly and bringing him further into the mood. Gee, I don't think it'd take too much. He is an incubus. Matthew slid both his hoodie and his shirt off and tossed them to the side before cradling my head in his hands and kissing me deeply. I felt heat rise into my body, making me undo the tie underneath my collar and release the buttons on my own shirt. Oh my god. Quickly, I removed my shirt and vest, making Matthew stop kissing me and stare in slight surprise. I was simply in a bra, but I could feel myself invade. I could feel a blush invade my cheeks. My shy side began to fester in my mind. Did I really want this? To undress before a demon? No, this was the man I loved, and yet I felt my innocence drape over me in almost shame. I needed to fight it. I quickly rolled both of us over to where I was sitting on Matthew's lap, staring down at him. Matthew sat up, looking at me with one of the most sexiest smiles I'd ever seen. Matthew, oh, we are nude. Matthew pulled me close, knowing I was still shy, and began to kiss my lips over and over. Each kiss was his promise to keep me safe, keep me comfortable, love me. I kept my arms around Matthew, taking each kiss he gave and giving him my own kisses in return. I didn't know if it was the fact we were both top nude, or maybe I just craved his touch, but I didn't want to let him go. However, as he held me, I could slightly feel the shiver of his hands. Was I his first? He wasn't going to tell me. He wanted me to enjoy this moment, but I was afraid of screwing up. His shivering hands showed me his emotions perfectly. As he laid me down and knelt over me, Matthew smiled and finally embraced me as we both desired. The pleasure between us would be heavenly, and we'd go through it together. I closed my eyes and gave myself to Matthew. My mind, my body, my soul. It all belonged to him as he held me. His body, his mind, his soul. It all belonged to me as I gave into his embrace. His kisses and fingers over my skin would forever engrave themselves into my memory as our passion rose through incredible heights. Our breaths and moans to each other equally sounded and echoed like a blissful chant we wished never to end. We kept moving, loving, feeling every inch of our bodies until we had had enough, and I was enveloped in his embrace. Skin to skin, heartbeats matching, we held each other in the glow of the aftermath. I nuzzled my head under Matthew's chin as he held me close.
I love you.
I love you too. Just to hear those words come from Matthew's mouth made my heart flutter. To hear me answer made my soul warm with glee. I could feel both of us sink into a peaceful sleep together. It was the best sleep I had had in days, and I was happy. I had love, and I had my happiness. My life was simply perfect. When I opened my eyes, I found myself staring into Matthew's bare chest. I blushed, but looked up to see Matthew still sleeping. His sleeping face made me giggle softly, but the reality of the situation made my heart flutter. I couldn't believe it. I was lying next to a man I had grown to love with all of my heart. His warm embrace made me feel safe, and as the tender moment we just shared replayed in my head, I couldn't help but smile and snuggle into his chest further. Unconsciously, he held me tighter to his body, giving me more of his warmth. I didn't want to move, but then my core suddenly tightened and made me sit up without waking the man next to me. I felt my legs move and bring me to the balcony window, where I opened the glass and stepped down onto the patio. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, who sat cross-legged on the railing of my balcony with her glowing red eyes stare upon me. I opened my mouth to object, but Diana stopped me.
Before you get all huffy, I didn't come here to take your precious man away. By the way, How was it exactly? Demons are the best lovers, after all.
I glared. What do you want, Diana?
Well, I just wanted to see how you truly feel. You know, without him around to influence you.
What are you talking about?
I'm giving you an opportunity to come clean about these feelings of yours, and to give you your salvation.
What was Diana up to? This was beyond crazy. Nothing she had done made sense. Why was I still alive at this rate? What's keeping you from just killing me and taking them?
You are not worth my time.
Not worth your time? What are you, afraid something might happen? All at once I felt my body being lifted into the air and moved past the railings, leaving me with nothing but the ground below to threaten me with a collision death.
Oh, trust me, dear. I'm not afraid to kill you. I can drop you right now and leave your body to rot until the morning, when the boys would find you.
I wanted to speak, but the thought of her letting go and letting me fall to my death scared my voice into silence. Diana then chuckled and wheeled my body back to the balcony, setting me down gently.
Alas, if I kill you, then the boys would never come with me willingly back to the demon world, and then I'd have to chase them all around the world, or kill them and drag them back. But then their father wouldn't be happy, and blah blah blah. Too much work.
Diana seemed very business-oriented, as if the boys were cargo more than men. It irked me, but she then smiled.
I'm giving you one chance to denounce your love for the demon in your bed, and let me take him and the other boys back to the demon world.
And why, may I ask, would I do that?
There are so many reasons why, actually. There's the reason that he's a demon and you're a human, so you two can never truly have a happily ever after. Then there's the reason that demons truly do not know how to love, despite what he may proclaim. The list goes on and on. The point is, if you give me the boys, I will promise you eternal happiness.
Eternal happiness?
That's right. I have the power to give you anything you desire. Power, men, women, money, fame. Name it, and it's yours. A demon never goes back on their word, and I have the power to obtain anything you wish. Our deal is our contract.
I could only stare in shock. This was a dream. It had to be. However, Diana smiled an almost genuine smile at me, shaking me to the reality of the situation. She would never smile like that.
Don't you wish to be free of your destiny? Your father constantly berating you to become the next CEO of your grandfather's company.
How did you... I was almost floored in surprise. How did Diana know all of this? She was a succubus, yes, but how could she know anything beyond sexual desire? She wasn't Damien. Diana chuckled and leaned back against her arms.
Just because I play with hearts and sex doesn't mean I don't know my way around the human mind. You happen to be an open book of information, but I digress. I can give you your freedom with ease. It'll be like you were always meant to have it. All I ask is that you hand over the boys. What do you say?
Was I seriously being given this choice? The man I loved for anything I wanted? A demon like Diana was powerful enough, yes, but did I even want to consider giving up the man I loved? No. She must have been crazier than I thought. I glared. Absolutely not. Diana sighed and stood up onto the railing. What I wasn't expecting was her lifting me into the air. Oh, shit. I tried to scream, but my voice suddenly became locked in silence. What was Diana doing? Diana made me float over to her as she smirked as we touched noses.
Well, if I can't return home with the boys, I might as well return home with the power to fight back.
Diana finally leaned in and kissed me. I shut my eyes, feeling the need to bite her lips, but finding no muscles in my face, listening to my mental commands. What did she do to me? I didn't want to enjoy, but every single nerve in my body was flaring in excitement as pleasure as she kissed me. I felt my energy drained, but slowly but forcefully from my body. Was she using her magic to force energy out of my body? No. Yes. It seemed like forever, but finally Diana pulled away from the kiss with a smile and a lick of her lips. She lowered me back down onto the patio and chuckled. For some reason, even though nothing seemed to have changed, she looked stronger, powerful. It was almost looking at a new Diana. Diana then stepped back off the railing, making me catch my breath in my throat. As she took another step away from me, she looked to be simply walking on the night air. Diana smirked at my sudden surprise.
May you never regret your choice, human. If you do, I'll happily come and take it away.
With a flick of her hair, Diana turned and walked away into the night, fading into the darkness like a shadow. I watched her fade away before looking back to the man in my bed. Did I make the right choice? I think I did, yeah. My heart gave a gentle thump, giving me my answer. I did, and I will never regret it for as long as I live. I walked back inside and gently crawled back into bed with the embrace of the safest arms I knew. I snuggled close to the warmth before closing my eyes. I was happy. The rest of the story can almost be passed over. With Diana gone, my life returned to normal, with school and my friends not remembering what had happened. It was as if magic never even appeared in my world. One thing was certain, however. Matthew loved me, and I loved him just as much. We had promised our lives to each other, and nothing was going to take that away from us, not even time itself. Our love was so powerful, it practically overwhelmed me with joy every time I found him holding me close every morning. To think, a demon in love with a human like me. It was unthinkable, unbelievable. It was practically impossible. But it was true. The other boys decided to leave of their own accord. They knew that my future would only need Matthew at my side, so they decided to start their own lives in the human world. Matthew understood perfectly, wishing his brothers the best. Besides, Matthew had proven to be a man by finding someone to care for. His brothers didn't need to worry about him now that he was caring for me. I felt bad as well for being closer to Matthew than the others, but they reassured me that I was okay and they would remain nearby should I ever need them. I was happy for that. They made me promise, however, that I would love Matthew for as long as we lived. That promise was instantly given. But what of my future? Well, it was kind of made for me. Before I graduated, James decided to step into the light of the Anderson Toys Company, and with the help of his demon powers and leadership charisma, he managed to influence not only the entire board, but my father as well into letting him run for CEO. I was beyond shocked. How James managed to do all that was beyond me. But when the vote was called, James was taking over the company I was destined to have. He vowed to respect the wishes of the lead CEO and help the company become an even grander one. For a demon, it was simple to make a company grand. My grandfather would have been so proud to see how James helped it shine. With the CEO position filled, my father had no choice but to let me decide my future, and made me happy beyond compare. No longer would I have the future scaring me into a corner. I could choose my own life. That being said, I was still scared of where the future was going to take me. What did I want to do? Did I want to help James build the company? Did I want to venture off on my own? Matthew reassured me that he would support me and help me through whatever I decided to do. I was grateful and I would never forget that promise. I was happy and nothing could shake me down from that happiness. One afternoon, a good couple of years after the boys and I had met, I had a moment to myself, so I wandered my house and took in all that had happened as if it was a dream. The demons, the devils, the magic. It was all surreal to believe. It almost frightened me to think that it could have been all a dream. But the warm feeling in my heart reminded me that it was all real. The demons, the magic, the love I had, all real. I smiled as I held my hands to my chest, relishing in the feelings dancing within my soul. I let out a happy sigh before looking up and seeing where I had wandered to, realizing that I was standing in the dining room. I stopped at the smell of baked goods, taking a gigantic whiff, letting the smell of sugar and sweets fill my senses. Matthew must be baking again. I tiptoed and peeked into the kitchen, wanting to know what he was making.
Almost done.
I watched as Matthew started to decorate an already wonderful-looking cake with blue and white frosting. It looked delicious. I was practically salivating. However, as I watched him, I smiled. He looked so concentrated in his work. It was adorable.
And there! Perfect!
Matthew stepped back from the cake, allowing me to see his masterpiece. It indeed was perfect. I wanted to taste, and soon. That looks amazing, Matthew.
What?
Matthew quickly turned to me in surprise, hiding the cake as I laughed.
I'm not done. I mean...
Matthew? I walked over and smiled, giving him a kiss before walking around him to take the cake. Closer, it looks all the more scrumptious. What is this for?
Well, I mean, it's for something pretty important.
I looked to Matthew, raising an eyebrow as he wrapped an arm around my waist. What is it for?
Guess. I'll give you 3 chances.
Okay. Or what? What if I don't get it right?
Then the cake is all mine.
Oh! Hey! No fair! Instinctively, I wanted to pull away, but Matthew laughed and dabbed some whipped cream on my nose from a nearby decorating spatula.
It's totally fair. Now just guess.
Is it your birthday? Matthew shook his head.
Nope. Second guess.
Is it an anniversary? Matthew nodded, but before I could cheer, Matthew rotated his hand, gesturing me to continue.
Anniversary of?
I puffed my cheeks. I could memorize facts and lessons, but dates were bad. It was like asking a girly girl when her boyfriend's frat party was. Matthew laughed before he kissed my cheek, making my puffed cheeks deflate.
It's the anniversary of when we first met.
Oh, that's cute. That is so freaking cute, Matthew. I had practically forgotten. He was right. It had been a couple of years since I moved in and met Matthew and his brothers. He threw a party last year for it. How could I have forgotten? Time definitely flew. Matthew. Matthew smiled at me, making my heart flutter and squee once again.
I want to celebrate it every year in a different way. Next year will be something extraordinary. For now, though, this cake will do.
That's so cute! I quickly pulled Matthew's head down to my hand and kissed him sweetly, wanting to show my appreciation with a kiss. He stared at me as if his greatest wish had come true. I fought back with a giggle in the sight. Matthew gently pulled me to him, hugging me to his chest. I nuzzled into Matthew's chest, hearing his gentle heartbeat and memorizing its tempo.
I love you.
I love you too. Before I could finish, suddenly the cake we had been sitting silently and peacefully on the counter exploded into a giant mess. Matthew, luckily, was quick enough to pull us back before we got hit with flying cake pieces.
What the?
Simon! I looked at the cake to see a very mischievous little creature standing over the cake, triumphant at what I had done. I began to laugh as Matthew grew red-faced.
Simon Tabby!
Oh my god, our life is a sitcom. I quickly rushed over and grabbed Simon, who made a squeak noise in my hands. I was still giggling as Matthew came over and glared daggers at the white doll covered in cake. That's so cute. To calm Matthew, however, I stretched up on my toes and kissed him softly on the lips. Matthew stared back, but not wanting to let me go without a kiss of my own. I love you, Matthew. Matthew sighed before smiling at me, finally calm.
I love you too.
I didn't want to wake up if this was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of this man in my life. There were no words that could describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, ecstatic, high, all at once. Here I was with the man I would be with forever, with a cake I would delight in, even if it was in pieces. I had gained the heart of of a man I loved. I vowed to cherish him and love him for the remainder of my days and beyond. Could a demon love a human forever? I knew Matthew would. And that was my happily ever after. End. Matthew's cake. Oh, that's so cute! Oh, I threw my pen at Artemis! Wow, that sounds bad. I didn't throw it at her. I threw it near her so she... Taking a picture of it real quick. Just in case it unlocks something. Demon War. The fuck? What? You can't just put something that random and disturbing and put please don't ask. We're gonna wanna ask. Well, that was it. That was Matthew. I have to say, I actually think I like Matthew's ending better than I did Damien's. I mean, I do like Damien. I still think he's my favorite, but as far as endings go, Matthew's was the cutest. Oh man, that was adorable. I'm glad that they kept Simon in the mix too every so often. It's cute. It's like a nice little connection. Now, who should I do next? Should I do Sam? No, Eric. That's who I wanted to do next. Alright, so next time, let's go down Eric's path. See what that takes us. All right. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, why not give a like and subscribe? Share with your friends too if they like creepy dolls and cake. All right. Bye-bye. What? What is the angel's password? All caps, no spaces. I actually know this. I don't know what this is gonna do. I just wanted to see if it did something. Transform Simon.
This house seems a bit much for one person. Huh? Oh, hello there. Aw, aren't you adorable? What are you doing here? You don't seem to be just a stuffed animal. Well then, you seem interesting enough. Might as well see your true form.
What the? What did you do to me?
Oh my god!
I released you from your smaller form. So much magical energy shouldn't be shoved into just a small toy.
So cute!
You changed me? Why?
Because you shouldn't be forced to live as just a simple stuffed animal. I merely wanted to help.
Well, now how am I supposed to sneak around? I'm too big now!
Don't get fussy with me. You can transform back at will. I merely unlocked the door to that form.
You're weird.
So much for generosity.
Oh my gosh!
I just want to get this over with. So many technicalities. Don't give me that look. If anything, this is your fault. Don't give me that silent treatment. I don't want this, but if this romance story needs another villain so badly, then I have no choice in the matter. However, I will come out of this victorious one way or another. I will not let my kingdom fall because of this stupid story. Stubborn, as expected of you. You're as heartless as the Demon Lord.
What the fuck's going on?
You should probably excuse yourself now. The human will be here soon, and I want to make my entrance without you hovering over my shoulder. This isn't what I want, but that's how the story is written.
Congratulations. What was that?